Okay, it's us. We're on, and it is time for episode number 275 of What Does This Button Do? Isn't that fun? I think let's get into it right away.
Smartphone basics, number 3. We've done 2 others that we've called smartphone basics
Hence
before.
the number three.
This
Okay.
one this one is about apps. Apps use cloud storage, so we are going to talk about that too.
Oh gosh, we have to talk about all of it. Well, we are an educational show about smartphones and technology with us Geeks on Tour. And we start out with a quick tip. Chris always likes to get something in first, and go ahead.
I think this is a really cool thing that most people don't know about. It's called offloading apps. This is iPhone, and we have a little video on it. So this is
Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and this video is about how to get more storage space available on your iPhone by using a feature called Offload Apps. First, let me show you what I'm talking about. My phone is getting pretty full. If you go into Settings and General and iPhone Storage, that's where it tells you how much space you have. I am using 26 gigabytes out of 32, so I still have 6. It's okay right now. Notice that my photos, the gold color, are not the problem. They may be with you, and there's other ways to deal with that. In my case, it's the red. That's apps. I have a lot of apps. And 10 gigabytes are in the system. There's nothing I can do about that. I could go through and uninstall apps, but that's such a hard thing to do. Check out this setting. Under Apps, iTunes and App Store, offload unused apps. Now, I even have that turned on, and I'm getting full, so I think I need a new phone. But if you don't have that turned on, it can give you a lot of space. Automatically remove unused apps, but keep all documents and data. Reinstalling the app will place back your data if the app is still available in the App Store. Let me show you how it works. It works automatically. It just finds apps that you haven't used in a while, and it offloads them. It doesn't uninstall. Look at this one called Layout. It says I've rarely used that, if ever, and now it has a little cloud on it. That means that I have that app, but it has been removed from the phone. If I want to use it and I tap it, it's just like it was there, but it's going to take a minute to download the app again, and it will come back with all your settings. So that is what is meant by offloading apps to free up space on an iPhone.
Good. What do you think?
Well, just 2 things. One, since that video was recorded, it is no longer iTunes and App Store on your settings. It's just App Store. But then there is offloading apps. And number 2, the Android equivalent is called archiving apps. And I do just want to show you that. So on Android, you go to the Play Store, and Settings. And how do you get to Settings? By tapping on your little face. I call that the account button. And Settings. And then Network Preferences. And where'd it go? Network Preferences. Auto Archive Apps is what I'm looking for. Play Store Settings. Okay, I didn't need to go to the Play Store Settings and Play Store Settings, automatically archive apps. General. automatically archive apps. Okay, it's Play Store settings general and automatically archive apps. Does the same thing as the offload apps on iPhone.
Cool. All right. And we have welcome everyone. Let's get rid of that. We are Geeks on Tour. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about these amazing devices, and how do you learn?
Well, we are geeks, also known as propeller heads, thus the silly hats. But we are geeks who teach, and we think the right way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So we pick a topic every other Sunday, and we do this show. This is episode 275 that we've done this. And all of our content is collected on our website at geeksontour.com for the last 15 years.
Wow. So where are we now, Chris?
We're home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but we just got back from camping. We took our little road trek van out to a state park in Florida and gathered with a bunch of other road trek van people, and it was just great fun.
It was.
If you're watching this not live, if you're watching this later and you want to skip this chit-chat part, know that there are chapters. Those little tick marks down at the bottom of the YouTube video, those get added after a day or two of the video being up. So just letting you know, if you're watching this later, you don't have to listen to all our chit-chat, but we like to chit-chat.
Yeah, we have a lot of friends here, and I'm just going to run through a few here, I think. Let's see if I can make this look a little bit better. Every time it comes in, it's different. That's weird. I need to fix that. Alice, great day in the Finger Lakes. Okay. Kathy.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
Ooh, how'd you like the eclipse a week or so
I
ago?
hope you were there. Jolyn, greetings from the Low Country. Okay. Linda Barchman in Florence. And Stephen Turney in Mission, Texas.
Snowed in Denver. Oh my. It's starting to get hot again here in Florida. Yeah, we have had a beautiful spring. It has been so cool and gorgeous. Starting to get hot again.
Starting to get hot again, but what are you going to do? Who else is here? Mead. Okay.
And I saw one question in there somewhere.
Have you done a podcast buttons on watch?
On Apple Watch or Galaxy Watch? No, not specifically. And yeah, maybe we should. We did do one with a guest, Ron Brown, who talked about the health, just specifically the health applications of the watches. I don't remember what episode that is, but I'll bet if you go to Geeks on Tour, click on the YouTube show, What Does This Button Do? And do a Control F search for health or watch, you'll find the episode that we did with him.
Okay.
And we'll take it under advisement to do another one.
We always love to have those
suggestions. Yeah. What do you want to learn?
Olive Cousin, Bill and Karen in the Willamette Valley of Oregon, and Huey Poplock, a neighbor.
Hey, Huey.
Hi, Huey. Great. Well, thanks all. I want to remind you that we have a backstage pass. It's for premium members only. You guys make this whole thing possible. It's an online meeting with Zoom. It's right after this, what we call a show, and you get the link from an email that Chris sent out earlier today, or you can go to our website, geeksontour.com, and go to the member login. Cool.
Okay, so we're ready for smartphone basics for apps. I just want to remind you that when we first started this show in 2014, 10 years ago,
wow,
we started this. We promised that we would not forget the beginners. So even when we teach beyond the beginning, beyond the basics, we try to teach in a way that beginners can understand, but we're also now trying to make a specific beginner series. So Smartphone Basics series, we've had Basics 1 back in May 2023, Basics 2, Controls and Settings, and today is Basics number 3 about apps. Finding and installing apps. On the iOS, on your Apple iPhone, you need to go to the App Store. It's just plain called the App Store, and that's the icon. You will need to know your Apple ID and password at least the first time. Then maybe a Face ID or something will work after that. And on the Android, it's called the Google Play Store. So in both cases, you're going for the store. And we highly recommend that you only get your apps from the stores. I mean, there are ways. An app developer might say, here's the link to download my app directly from me to your iPhone. That's sketchy, you know? I mean, if you really, really know what you're doing, okay. But for most of us, stick to the apps in the official stores. They have been vetted, and if perchance a problem arises with them, the store will remove them from the store. So one thing I look for is how long has the app been in the store? And secondly, how recently has it been updated? If you look at those two factors, you can feel pretty confident that it's a good app. So a lot of apps are free. Are they really free? They very likely have a free level, and then you need to pay for more. You know, like if you're using the free version, you get a watermark on whatever you create with it, and you have to pay in order to get rid of that watermark. So yes, it seems like more and more they are all free. But there's other things. And there's one little icon here that I just want you to notice. If you see on the Apple App Store, if you see an app that has a little cloud with a down arrow on it, that means you've purchased this app before, but it's not on this device. So how does it know that you've purchased this app before? That's if you're signed in with the same account as the one where you purchased it before. And on Android, basically the same thing. If a app is free, it will just have a button that says install. If it's a pay for, it'll have the price. Now, why do you need to get apps? I mean, we're trying to make this for basics. I mean, when you buy a phone, doesn't it come with everything you need?
Well, it comes with a bunch of apps, but you may have reason to use others.
Yeah, I mean, a basic phone does come with all the basic apps you really need. And some people do leave it at that. Two things. I like to choose which apps I use. For example, on the iPhone comes with its own calendar, photos, email, and web browser. I prefer to use the Google apps. So I would need to install those Google apps on the iPhone. Why? Because they share the same cloud data storage. So whether I'm using my iPhone or an Android, I am looking at the same stuff, working with the same commands if I'm using Google Apps. So that's actually a big tip from Geeks on Tour is we don't care which kind of phone you use. We use them both, but we do care that you use the Google Apps. We think it works better. But then there's specialty apps. Like, let's say when we were full-time RVers, weather was a big deal.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Even now, even a part-time, weather is a big deal. So let's say I'm not getting what I need from the weather app that came with my iPhone. So let me do the iPhone first. where do I need to go? I need to go to the App Store, and mine, I don't know where it is, so I'm going to search. We'll teach this later, but I just swipe down, and there I see the App Store. And I will search for weather. Show me all the weather apps in the App Store is what this is doing. So where I see get, it means I don't have it. If I want it, I need to click there. This is the one that is pre-installed. Here is one that I have installed in the past, but is not on this phone. That's what I want. That's what I've been missing on this phone. I don't have the weather channel. So I just tap on the little cloud with the down arrow, and it starts downloading. And as soon as it's done, I can now open it. So I now have the Weather Channel app on my iPhone. With Android, it's the Play Store. My Play Store is in my Google folder, and there it is, Play Store. And I was in somewhere else. So I search for weather. And weather radar. Now, these are sponsored, so these first three are like ads. Weather Channel is already installed on here. But here's one. I remember I used to like AccuWeather. Oh, no. Weather Underground. Yeah. Oh, that's already installed. Okay. So let's say I want to get AccuWeather. I tap on it and then tap Install. And it starts installing. Now, the first time you do this, you will need to authenticate. You will need to either put in your ID and password, or your Face ID or your fingerprint or something to prove that you are the account where you are installing this app to. All right, and now I can open AccuWeather. All right, so that is installing apps. What about updating app? Just because you've installed an app doesn't mean that you have it current. There's updates all the time. So how do you see if your app is up to date? First, with the iPhone, there is a setting to automatically install updates. I don't find that it works very well, personally, but let me show you where it is. On the Apple, I just tapped on Settings, and then I find App Store, and scroll down. App Updates is on. Okay. And to me, that means all my apps should be up to date automatically. But the other way to check is to go to your App Store and get back to the beginning. Tap on your Account button. When I say Account button, I mean your little face or just whatever is in a circle at the top right. And scroll down, and I see upcoming automatic updates. There are 25 apps waiting to be updated. It says they're going to be updated automatically, but somehow I don't believe it. But anyway, I can either tap on Update All, but that's going to take a bit of time. If I right now want to use the app RV Parky, I want to make sure I'm using the most recent app, so I will tap Update. Okay, so that's updating apps on the iPhone. Now, updating apps on the Android. Same processes, just slightly different buttons to tap on. On Android, I would open the Play Store and then the account button, my little face in the upper right, and settings and network preferences. Now that doesn't sound real logical, but it might make sense once you see the actual option. Auto update apps. Okay, so it doesn't just say, I want you to auto update apps, yes or no. It says, I want you to auto update apps only when I'm on Wi-Fi or over any network, or don't update apps. And I have mine over Wi-Fi. But I usually just want to check and see if a particular app is up to date. So in the update, in the App Store, I'm on an Android. What's the App Store? It's the Google Play Store. In the Play Store, let's say I want to know if Google Photos is up to date. I will search for Google Photos. If I could spell. Google Photos. And if it says open, that means it is up to date. If I want to see all the apps that need updating, I have to go to Manage Apps and Devices and Manage. And now I see a button that says Updates Available. And these are all of the apps that have an update available. Once again, even though I have it set to automatically update. So it's better, I think, to come straight to the App Store and look at the apps to update. Okay. But the thing to know is you need to update your apps, because what are updates about?
Well, there are two main reasons for updates, and I always say that, they create or they fix any security problems, and they add functionality, hopefully in a good way.
Yeah.
But those are the main reasons for all updates, and we say that you should update your devices and your apps.
Yes. It is important.
Okay.
Next, so we've talked about installing apps, updating apps, now organizing apps. If you're like me, there's a place that I can see. I think I have 300 and some odd apps on each phone. It's a bit crazy. So if there are ones that I use all the time, I want to know where they are. So video 6. Hi, this is Chris Cool with Geeks on Tour, and I have a tip for you about putting special apps into special folders. I have a lot of travel apps, and I wonder if your screens look anything like mine. I have travel apps on the first screen and on the second screen and on the third screen, and I never remember their names. I want to put them all in one place, and that's called a folder, and I'm going to show you how, both on an iPhone and on an Android. So here's my iPhone, and notice I have 4 apps on this home screen that are travel apps. All I have to do is long press on one of them. If I long press on RV Parky, and then I keep holding down, everything starts to wiggle. And I can just drag it on top of the next one. That has created a folder. Now that everything is still wiggling, I can just drag the next app into that same folder. And this one. It can be a little tricky. And notice it already called the folder travel based on the items I put in it. Now there's some on the next screen though. This one, Togo RV. I hold down on it, and then bump up against the edge. Like I say, it can be a little tricky, but it works. I also have a travel app on my very last screen, this one called iOverlander. Long press, and you can also just tap on Edit Home Screen. But no, if you keep touching on the app, it will start wiggling all on its own. Okay, so now it's wiggling, and I can drag that, bump against the left screen until I'm all the way back to the beginning, and then drop it in that folder. There we go. And when you're done, you press the home button. Now I have all of my travel apps, or at least some of them. I have more than that, but that'll do. Now on an Android, it works pretty much the same way. This is my Samsung Note 9, and on this screen, there's the iOverlander, there's Road Trippers. So I will touch and hold, and then just drag. You don't have, they don't wiggle on the Android. You just touch and hold and then drag them up. This one is asking me for a folder name, so I will type travel. And done. Back out to the main screen. Now RV Parky needs to be dragged into that folder. There. You just kind of have to touch the edge. Now I think, oh, there's another one, all stays. Touch and hold. Drag to just touch the edge of the folder and let go. And there's a couple more on this screen. Touch and hold, drag over, touch the edge of the folder. And the last one, where am I? Love that one. Come on. When that gets too tricky to drag an item into the folder, Android gives us another way. You can open the folder and you can tap plus, and that is looking at your list of all apps alphabetically. So where am I? I can tap the W and I will see where am I, and done. You could also have selected several in there and now it's added. But realize that that's added it again to the home screen. So here is the original. I can long press on that and remove from home. Now you can also move the whole folder. I mean, if I decide that I want to travel on my last screen, I can touch and hold and drag the whole folder over. And that's how you put all your special apps together in one special place called a folder. I do highly recommend organizing your apps into folders, but I know some people that have all of their apps in folders. So won't it get to the point? Yes, John, agreed. But it does get to the point where you still can't find an app because you don't remember which folder you put it in. Thus, our next tip, which is searching for apps on your phone. On the Apple, you could just ask Siri. Let me try it. So how do I bring up Siri? It's a long press on the side button.
This should be fun.
Launch Excel. Boom, it's done. No, I don't want a 3-month trial. I just want the free Excel. And now I'm in Excel. Pretty cool. So you can always ask Siri if you know the app is on your phone, just tell her to launch it and it's done. But I usually like to see the icon. So on an iPhone, you swipe down from the middle, down, and that opens up Siri suggestions. It's searching. So, oops.
She's listening.
I don't want you, Siri. Siri, go away. Doesn't work.
To close an app, swipe up from the bottom to the middle of the screen and hold until you reach the app switcher. Then...
Yeah, we'll get there. Okay. If you want to search for something, you can tap right here in the search and then type, like, I know that there's an app on this phone called Anova for Jim's special oven. He has a smart oven, and you have to have the app to operate it. If I need to operate the oven, I don't do it very often. It's his oven, but I need the app. So I can type Anova. And there it is. And I open it. So once again, that was swipe down reveals the search field. Although it's now been built in to a little search button down at the bottom. So if you forget about that swipe, there it is right there. You just tap search and that brings you to the same screen. You type whatever you're looking for. On the Android, you can use the Google search widget. If you have put in the Google search widget, that's this thing right here, you can search. I use a timer for our Toastmasters Club, if I could spell again. Timer. And from your apps, notice Google search is searching the web, right? That's all this stuff up here is searching the web. But then there's this section that says from your apps. Or it can also search your contacts. All right, I shouldn't have gone there. But just like the iPhone search all apps, it was a swipe down. On the Android, swipe up from the middle. This is now showing me all the apps, and there's a search button up at the top. So I can search here for that timer. And there it is, the timer for TM. Anybody in Toastmasters, this is a really cool little tool.
It really is.
Yeah, you can tell it I need a timer for a 6 to 8 minute speech, and then it puts on a green light at 6 and a yellow light at 7 and a red light at 8.
Is it available on the Apple?
I don't know. Good question.
No.
I would have to look and see. But it's pretty cool. So once again, that was swipe up, and that reveals your all apps and a search bar. Whereas on the iPhone, it was a swipe down, and it reveals a search bar. So that's searching. Oh, but now how do you get just plain to the all apps? On the Android, I showed you, if you swipe up, you are at the all apps. But you might also have this little 9-dot grid. That means it's called the app drawer in Android. I think that's kind of weird, but if you tap there, you get to the same place as swiping up. Now on the iPhone, how do you see the all apps? I have it on. If you swipe left and go all the way to the very rightmost screen, you're seeing the app library. And this is where all apps are, but and here it is alphabetically. But the default is to show it to you in categories. All right, so that's searching for apps. So you can't find anything yourself. You can always ask your phone to search for it.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Well, we have a couple. I just want to run through these real quick. A bunch more hellos. And we have Sharon and Tia, Elliot, Sherland, Texas, Paulsboro,
Jimmy
Hi, buddy
Lion
Jimmy on LBI. And Steve Wright has his two
has
daughters.
his 2 daughters we're watching. All right.
Our big fans.
We are a family affair here.
Le Hermit de Hermitage has arrived.
All right. Good,
So
good
cool.
to see you all.
Good to see you all, yes.
Hope to see you in our backstage pass and we can chat more.
Right. Let's see if we've gotten some questions, though, down here.
I didn't see any.
Let's see.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Any tips on fingerprint access? Find it to be hit or miss. Doesn't always recognize my thumb.
I get the same thing. I've had to ask it to relearn my thumbprint. But Andrew has a good point. Next.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sure the sensor is clean. In my case, my Samsung, the sensor is right on the screen. So yeah, maybe I should make sure to keep my screen cleaner and maybe my thumbprint would work better.
Okay. Andrew has trouble with 32 apps on his phone. He can't imagine having that.
Really? You only have 30? Oh, but you have a phone. You didn't used to. Okay, got it. Got it.
Not a flip phone, huh? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have over 300 on both phones. And yeah, it's too much. Next comes uninstalling. So I'll have to show you that. Okay. So yes, if you have over 300 apps like I do, you probably should uninstall a few. But I have a hard time doing that. I say, well, I know I haven't used it in, 5 years, but I might still again. So that's the issue here. So with Apple, I'm going to go to my main home screen and how you remove an app. So let's see here. Let's say I want to remove the Kindle app. I've decided I'm not reading books anymore. I don't need this Kindle app.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, I love my Kindle app. But so what you do is you touch and hold and then remove app. Now, what's going to happen when I tap that? Well, it depends. Remove app. I have the choice now of deleting the app from the phone, uninstalling it, or just remove it from the home screen. If I remove from the home screen, that little icon is gone. But notice this widget for Kindle is still there. And if I swipe all the way over to the right, to my all apps, there is the Kindle under the information and reading group. So uninstall, you have to click another option, and it works exactly the same actually on the Android. Here's the Kindle app icon on the main home screen. I touch and hold. And right here, I have the choice. I can remove or I can uninstall. Say, oh, you're right. I don't want to uninstall. I want my Kindle app. I just want to get it off of this home screen. But if you do want to uninstall, that's where you find it. All right. Multitasking and force quitting apps. For this, we have a video. 7:30. Okay, so there's 2 more on the basic smartphone tips, the reboot and the force quitting apps. And they kind of go together. So let's see. I'm going to start with my Samsung, my Android phone. And first, I just want to show you my recently used apps. That's this 3- button down on the very bottom left. When you tap that, you see all of the apps that you have recently opened. Now, some people think that it's important to do a close all to clean this up. It is not. And people have gotten into fights over this, but I've done a lot of research, and it's not like a computer. These aren't taking up processing power. They're just placeholders. So actually, if you close all the time, you're slowing down your phone because it doesn't have the shortcut placeholders available. That said, there are some reasons to use this. But first, I want to show you rebooting. I'm going to hold down on the power button, also known as the side key, and I'm going to choose restart. So that is rebooting my phone. So it's in process. So on the Android phone, there is that restart option. It shuts down and comes back all on its own. But what I want you to see is that my most recently used apps are all still there. So reboot did not clean them off. Why? Because it doesn't need to. It's not a good idea to clean those off. Now, if you're just, if you're one of those that always likes to have a completely clean, neat desk, then okay, I understand. It doesn't really hurt much, but
it does slow you down.
I wanted to give an example of when because this happened just a couple days ago. We were traveling and I needed to use my Android Samsung as a hotspot. And it wasn't working. I mean, the hotspot would turn on. I could connect my computer to the hotspot that my phone was being, but after a couple of minutes, it would drop it. It just wouldn't stay.
Reboot. It really does solve a lot of problems.
It did fix it. The hotspot worked after that.
Yeah.
But if you're just having problems, for example, with Google Photos, let's say you start to scroll through Google Photos and you go to library and nothing shows up and nothing does, and you tap on something and it doesn't work. You could reboot the phone, but if the only thing you're having a problem with is Google Photos, then you just want to reboot Google Photos. And that is what the multitasking is for. I would tap on the 3 lines that brings up recently used apps, and I would swipe Google Photos off. That means when I reopen it, it's not starting from that placeholder. It's starting fresh, and it usually fixes those problems. So that was on the Android. Same thing on iOS. I'm going to use my, what is this?
That's an iPad.
That's an iPad. Because it can work if you have a newer iPhone that doesn't have a button. You need to know how to get to your multitasking. And you do that by swiping up from the bottom and then letting go right at the middle. Now I'm on the multitasking. As opposed to just swiping up, now I'm at home. So swipe up, kind of hold for a second in the middle and let go. Now you can find your misbehaving app and force quit it. That's what that's called. And on the iOS devices, you hold down on the power button until you see slide to power off. And you do have to power off and then count to 10, hold down on the power button to turn it back on again.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. And yeah, people do fight over the need to clean off apps. The people who think you need to do it still have a computer, a Windows software mindset where every running software is taking up resources. That's not what the recently used apps is. It's just a placeholder.
Right.
And didn't you read?
I just read Apple said that swiping those things off slows your phone down, and because they have to reopen, and it uses more battery. So if you're worried about that kind of stuff, just don't worry about it anymore.
Yeah, just don't worry about it.
Okay.
But know how to do it so that you can fix a misbehaving app.
Well,
That's the point.
Yeah. Rebooting can never hurt anything. Right?
All right. So that was multitask. Now we're talking about backing up or syncing. So I wonder if anybody in the audience now has ever had their phone lost or stolen or broken and had to ask all their friends for their contact information again.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Check that your backup settings are on. Oh, and or use apps that sync all the time. For example, I use Google Contacts. So when I add a contact to my phone, it is synced to the cloud in contacts.google.com. If I should ever lose my phone, I still have all my contacts in the cloud. I don't have to go through this pain. What if I lose my phone and I don't remember what apps I had, all those 300 apps? Well, that's backup. And I do just want to show you that. So on Android, you would go into settings. And how do I get to settings? I swipe down from the top and then tap this little gear. If you have another way, that's fine. There's lots of ways to get to settings. And then Google. It's a Google account that is running this phone. So I find the Google services and I make sure that backup is on. And notice it's telling me that I've used 81 gigabytes of my 102 gigabytes of cloud storage in my Google account. But backup is on, and that means if I lose this phone, I get another one, I sign into my account, and all of my apps are back. All 353 of them, whatever. And same thing with Apple. This is my iPhone. And you go into settings. And then it's right at the top. So right under your name, it says Apple ID, iCloud, Media, and Purchases. Just tap on your name and then tap on iCloud. And scrolling down, it shows that iCloud backup is on. And all of these apps have backup on. So I lose the phone or it gets stolen or broken, no problem. So that's now, but just a bit more now about cloud copy or sync. What is the difference between backup, which is a static one-way process, or sync, which is a dynamic two-way process? Video 782. Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and in this little video, I want to make a point about using cloud storage to upload your photos and keep them safe. I'm going to start with a little bit of terminology, and then I will give a short demo. First off, I think it's interesting why we call it the cloud. It's an internet. That's all cloud is another word for the internet. But people who have to diagram networks just cannot draw the entire internet. So they just use a cloud, and that's why we call it cloud. But if you imagine it like clouds above the earth, then the terms upload and download make more sense. I like that. So think of it as the cloud up above the earth. You have many accounts in the cloud. Each one needs a username and password, and each one works a little bit differently. It's important to understand when you upload your photos, especially to these cloud services, which ones just hold a copy of your photos and which ones synchronize with your device.
If it synchronizes, when you delete from one, you might be deleting from all. I'm going to use Dropbox and Google Photos to demonstrate this. First, I'm going to take a picture of these shells with my Android Samsung phone. Now let's say this pictures of these shells is very important to me, so I want to make a copy of it up into the cloud rather than trusting that they'll be okay on my phone. I tap the share button, and I'm going to use Dropbox for this. You might have to tap the three dots to get there, but I have Dropbox right here. And I need to choose the right folder in Dropbox, and I'm going to use Camera Uploads and tap Upload here. So that has made a copy of this photo. I now have two copies, one on the phone and one in the cloud in my Dropbox account. To prove that it's in the cloud, I'm going to my Dropbox account on the computer. I'll open the Camera Uploads folder, and there is the picture of the shells. So any connected device can now see this photo because a copy of it is in the cloud. But what if I delete it from Dropbox? I delete this. It says, are you sure you want to delete this from your Dropbox? The way Dropbox works is that is only deleting it from Dropbox. I go back to the phone and it's still there, no problem. But other systems will synchronize. For example, Google Photos. I have Google Photos on this same phone, and there is the shells, and I can show them to you on Google Photos on the web. So here is Google Photos on my computer, and there is that photo. Now here's the difference. Google Photos synchronizes with my device. So when I delete it from Google Photos, remove from your Google account devices with backup turned on and places shared within Google Photos. Move to trash. That is going to delete that photo from everywhere. Let's go back and look at the phone. The photo of the shells is gone. But there is one last safeguard. Notice this message, review out of sync changes. Since you deleted that from the computer, Google realizes you might not be aware that it deletes it from the phone, so you get to review the things that were deleted from Google. So move to trash. 3 photos were moved to trash. You can review. There is the picture of the shell, meaning it is still physically on this device, just not showing up in Google Photos until such time as you remove all and allow. Now, even if we go to Gallery, you'll see that the photos are gone because of the actions you took in Google Photos. Good to know. Good to know. People don't like to lose things without understanding, how they lose them.
They don't like to lose things at all.
All right. Okay. And my last point about apps is what to do when storage is full. And if you are a Geeks on Tour premium member, you can just go straight to tip 106, geeksontour.com/tip 106, and it'll go into all the detail. But first of all, what is full? This is a confusing thing. Depending on the message that you get, it's not easy to tell whether they're talking about your cloud storage is full or your phone is full. So that's what these two images are for. The way you find out is by looking at your cloud storage settings. On the Android, you go to Settings and Google, and it will show you right there what you have in your cloud storage. And on the iPhone, it's Settings and iCloud. Let me show you that. So Android, it's settings and Google. So many settings. And right there it tells me I am using 81 gigabytes of 102. 80% of my Google Cloud storage is used. And yes, that is Google One storage is what that is about. And on the iPhone, to look at your cloud settings, it's settings, and right at the very top where it says your name and cloud, and it will tell you right under iCloud, I'm using 78 gigabytes of 200 that I have available to me. So that's the cloud storage. That has nothing to do with how full your phone is. Now, how full your phone is, I'm still on the iPhone, and I'll go back to my main settings, general, and iPhone storage. So I see now that my iPhone storage is 82 gigabytes out of 128. Still plenty of room. And
Sure.
back on the Android, once again in settings, and this is the general, device care. My Samsung anyway, I'm not sure about all Androids, but on the Samsung, storage is under device care and storage. So it tells me that I am using 87% of the phone storage. So back to this.
Yeah.
If your cloud account is full, you just pay for more storage. You just pay for more cloud storage. Easily done. If your phone is full, you need to delete stuff or buy a new phone that has more storage.
I always say buy a new phone.
Yeah, I know you do. And that if you can, that is the best, because lots of things will be better in a new phone.
Too true. All right, what do we have here? So Sharon wants to know, which app drawer do you recommend? I see quite a few in the Play Store.
No reason to get anything from the Play Store. In my opinion, the app drawer that comes with the Samsung anyway is just fine.
But if you want to try a different launcher, go ahead and, it's okay. But
I know I don't see any need. That's more advanced anyway, not beginning.
Okay, Gary, I think one of the most underused feature is scheduling
text messages to be delivered at a future day time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't text enough. I do like scheduling emails for a future time.
Okay. Joseph, reboot, restart, or power off and start? I just got an Android update with automatic restart. Is it all the same?
As far as I know, it is all the same. Power off and start it up again is the same as restart.
Okay. Here's a question. What's the best way to move Samsung Android contacts into Google contacts without making duplicates?
The Samsung Contacts now has a setting to back up to Google Contacts. That's the easiest way.
Okay. Is backup by Google One different than just backup on Android?
It depends. If you go into if you go into the Samsung backup setting, you could be backing up to Samsung Cloud. If you are backing up to your Google account, it's the same thing as Google One. Yes, Google One backup is the same.
All right. And if you have a Chrome app and you have multiple windows open, is Chrome using memory to keep the window open?
Chrome app and multiple. So you mean multiple tabs? Good question. I don't think so.
Can I set back up to my computer instead of iCloud?
There are ways to back up to your computer, yes, but that's a very manual process. Now, Steve, I know you. You might be up for it. I don't want to have to manually. I don't want to have to depend on myself to plug in a cable and do something. Or, yeah, there are ways. I don't use them, so I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Phew.
Wow.
That was great.
Yeah, lots of questions. Cool.
Well, we have a YouTube channel, I suppose you know, but please hit that subscribe and get notified. Reminder of the Backstage Pass. It's an online Zoom meeting for our premium members right after this show. I have to get busy and get that going.
Google Photos Workshop number 4.
Okay.
If you are a premium member of Geeks on Tour, you can look at 1, 2, and 3. They're all up there on our classes page. Workshop number 4 is coming up. It is full, so if you're a member, you can wait till afterwards and you can review it.
Well, did you learn something? I know I did. What's the name of the store where you get the apps for Apple?
App Store.
And Android?
Play Store.
Okay. When I delete an item like a photo and it deletes from cloud and all devices, what's that called? Is it syncing, backup, archive, or expunge?
That is syncing.
Mm-hmm. If you paid for an app while using an old phone, when you get a new phone and want that app, there will be no charge as long as
you're signed into the new phone with the same account
as
the old accounts.
Important.
We did a whole episode just on accounts.
Okay. To search for an app on your phone, swipe which way? Up or down to reveal the search bar?
Yeah, this is just crazy. And since I have both, I get confused all the time. On Android, it's a swipe up. On Apple iOS, it's a swipe down.
Okay. And to find a page that shows all the apps on the iPhone, what do? Do you search all apps, swipe to the rightmost screen, or ask Siri?
B, swipe to the rightmost screen.
All right. Okay, we talked about the Backstage Pass. You can get it on our website at member login or check the email. There's a link in there. What's the web page that lists all of our YouTube shows, Chris?
Geeksontour.com. I need to update this image, don't I?
Yeah, it's about time.
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is YouTube show. All 275 episodes are listed under there.
Yeah, we're changing the website, but not the pictures.
But not the pictures, yeah.
Okay. And the webpage lists all the recent newsletters.
Geeksontour.com. The menu item is blogs and news. You'll find all our 15 years of newsletters listed under there.
Okay, why do people pay $58 a year to join Geeks on Tour?
Lots of member benefits. Number 1 is our Backstage Pass right after the meeting here. Access to hundreds of videos, ebooks, and now we have a new experimental AI. Ask the Geeks anything, and it's pretty impressive.
And it makes some mistakes.
And some people become a member and pay us $58 a year just to say thank you for all that we do for free, and we thank you.
All right. So become a member. Go to geeksontour.com/join now and sign up for our newsletter. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are the Geeks on Tour. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Sign up for the newsletter. Do all that stuff. Okay.